Alright. Alright, we got some update videos to the Salt Lake City Bricks and Minifigs situation. So we're gonna watch these 3 videos in order.
More unhinged craziness in this huge Lego scandal with Bricks and Minifigs has just unfolded. The Utah Police Department that was responsible for a lot of the inexplicably hostile and ridiculous behavior that we talked about yesterday with part 2 from Reckless Bins Invest, when
What's
their
the new
word
thing?
has meant literally nothing. Yeah, here, I haven't watched the police department's video on it yet. I'll pull it up.
My name is Cameron Paul, and I am the Chief of Police for the American Police Department.
Okay. Brother, do you mind turning up the volume? Holy, it's actual ASMR.
Pretty much.
Wow. I cannot really hear him.
He's trying to sound as soothing as possible, but why?
Why is he whispering? Are his parents asleep in the next room? What is this?
I'd like to address
I think he's in trouble.
the members of our American Fork and Cedar Hills community regarding some videos currently circulating on social media that have been presented in a way that calls into question some of the actions of our departments.
And we can't have that. You're not allowed to question the actions of our department. We do nothing wrong. Why is it so fucking quiet? I can hardly
We're the police. What do you mean?
hear him. I actually can barely hear him. I need to bass boost this guy.
There should be no reason to question us. We're the police.
Fry his ass. Holy, I actually can't hear it at all. Maybe this. Let me see if that helps.
These videos are affiliated with an influencer on YouTube and other social media platforms.
Oh god, the use of the word influencer. Jesus Christ. Yeah, maybe after you fucked him. Like financially. And morally. And perceptually. And punitively.
And stem from a dispute involving Legos that originates in the state of Oregon. In this message,
I actually have to turn on subtitles. Bro, I can't hear you. Oh my god. Use your outside voice, please. Oh, wow.
Mr. Johnson reported that earlier that same day, a suspicious male had been at his residence. He stated the male was wearing a baseball cap with a UPS logo taped onto it. Mr. Johnson also reported that a suspicious package had been left at the residence. He explained that what appeared suspicious was that the shipping label did not look legitimate. The package was later determined to contain rubber ducks.
That's great.
Who, according to Johnson,
I can't believe it.
Mr. Johnson further explained that civil proceedings were occurring in Oregon and stated that he believed Schneider was sending individuals to his home to harass him. While officers
To serve him, brother, they can only go forward.
Yeah, it's like, let's use the legal process to force him to do something we don't think he's going to do, but then when he does that thing, oh wait, you're breaking the law, Buster.
If he gets served the papers, which is what he was trying to explain to the officers that were called out there numerous times, literally countless times.
Catch 22. Years. Over Legos.
How else? Like, he can't go himself because Josh is a bitch and has,
Jesus
like, formally
Christ.
trespassed him, so if he shows up, he goes to jail for it. But by law, through the legal process, he has to serve those papers. So, like, what's he supposed to do? Now, the rubber ducks, that's probably something totally separate. I'm sure that probably doesn't tie directly in to serving him the papers. But, brother, it's not harassing him to try and serve him the legal documents. This is a legit tactic process servers use, by the way.
But remember, they're not legal documents. They're fake until we prove otherwise, and then they're still fake. And then we check again, and then... Yeah, no. I don't even know, man. Just endlessly claim that they're fake papers. Try to prevent anything from happening with them.
The rubber ducks is? Let me look that up. I'm very unfamiliar with all of this, so let me see.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
No, like using disguises. Oh, that I know. I thought you were talking about the rubber ducks. No, I know about that. That's a very common thing. I thought you were talking about sending rubber ducks for some reason as, like, first contact.
Officer Tonga issued Adams a trespass warning at Mr. Johnson's request and instructed him not to return to Mr. Johnson's residence. At approximately the same time, Officer Richardson arrived in the area and located a dark-colored Hyundai vehicle. Richardson initiated a traffic stop on the vehicle for failing to stop before the stop line at a stop sign and failing to stop completely at that stop sign.
That didn't happen. That was proven to not happen.
Does this guy then go on to say the officer was incorrect? Because we have the dash cam.
Exactly.
He realizes this lie is immediately debunked when you look at the dash cam. They stopped at the stop sign.
Oh, but the general public doesn't know that, who haven't been keeping up with this story.
This is a provable lie. Surely he goes on to say that the officer was incorrect, right? Obviously, he's gonna mention that, no doubt.
And as you can see, we didn't even do a rolling stop. We fully stopped at the stop sign. So this is an illegal traffic stop.
That's a clip from Ben's video that
Technically, all of it's illegal.
just shows in broad daylight, no smoke and mirrors, no...
We know how this ends. The police department's gonna get completely wiped. Like, it's gonna get... they're all gonna get replaced. Religion is not above the law.
Baloney. They stopped at that stop sign. Just wanted to dump that in here as a little refresh. Okay, own evidence
Of this title.
wrong based on all of the publicly available evidence.
Richardson also
Nothing.
identified the driver, who identified himself as Tyler Shaw. A rear passenger also identified himself as Benjamin Schneider. When Officer Tonga arrived at the...
Nope, nothing about it being incorrect about the not stopping at the stop sign. Nothing about that. You know your own evidence contradicts your statement, right?
Actually, this is illegal too. This isn't just a lie. This is slander, and yeah, this is probably several different crimes happening right here. There's just this one lie.
This is is this a crime? Are you allowed to just lie about the circumstances of this? I don't know.
Yeah, yes, it's a crime.
I'm not a police officer. I'm not a lawyer.
Contact him as part of the investigation.
There's got to be a way to turn this guy up. There's got to be. I can't even focus on what he's saying because I can hardly fucking hear it. I feel like I'm taking like a physical at the doctor right now to check my hearing. This is unbelievable.
Because, according to Snyder, their civil case could not proceed without an attempt at verbal reconciliation.
I mean, it's not just according to them, it's according to law, brother. Why are you making it sound like that's up for debate? It's literally part of the legal process. I don't know why he's trying to frame it that way.
That comment was so accurate. Bro filming his resignation and he doesn't even know it. Yup.
Interaction, Officer Fraughton indicated he believed Shaw's eyes appeared glossy and expressed concern regarding possible impairment.
Which would be the opposite effect of what heroin actually does to somebody's eyes.
You're not going to mention why they got, why this has happened now? Because someone put in a tip that they had heroin? Are we just glossing over that? Did I miss it because I can't fucking hear this guy at all? Sounds like he's talking to me from underwater? We're not going to address the fact that you have just pulled them over because someone gave you a tip that they have heroin, so now you're acting off of just like a fraudulent lie?
And also, they had the dude's name before they even pulled up. It's evident in the dash cam, or not in the dash cam, in Reckless Ben's video where he gets pulled over and the cop comes up and says, "Oh, you didn't stop at the stop sign?" And it's like, "Are you Benjamin? How do you know that?"
And now you're saying, oh, his eyes looked glossy. We're not going to bring that up? Interesting, very interesting.
Yeah.
Officer Hawkins asked Shaw if he would be willing to participate in field sobriety testing.
Which he did for hours, and they searched his car for hours. Let's waste this guy's time as much as possible, and maybe he'll break and give us what we want.
Sure he was safe to drive. Shaw agreed. Field sobriety tests were conducted and no signs of impairment were observed. During this same time, while Officer Hawkins was conducting his investigation, Officer Fraughton used
What stinky, snaking, selective... searching for wrongdoing. Like, this is insane.
Police service dog to conduct an open-air sniff around the vehicle. Fraughton's police service dog alerted to the presence of the odor of a controlled substance. Searched. No illegal.
That dog must have been wrong every time that there wasn't drugs.
Substances were located inside of the vehicle door of her residence, taking photographs of the home. The female was described as wearing long, fake, curly hair. Shortly afterward, Joshua Johnson contacted police and reported he was going to shoot someone as a result of the ongoing harassment. Multiple officers immediately responded to the area.
That's not a crime? That's not a self-report?
While en route, Officer Sumbot with the American Fork Police Department.
That seems like a really interesting thing just to get through pretty quickly. He kind of spit that out as if it was nothing, but to me that was kind of eye-opening. So he called the police because, once again, they have shown up to try and figure out a way to serve him these legal papers that he's avoiding like Garfield on Mondays. And now he's told the police, they're here again, and I'm going to shoot someone. Pardon? What?
Yeah, like... What? So let me get this straight. You're a six-figure scammer. You call the police and tell them you're going to shoot somebody because the legal system has been helping you stay corrupt. And you're tired of people trying to do the right thing. You say you're going to shoot somebody. And the cops are like... man, we get it, man. Like, these people trying to set things right as rain, man. They're so fucking annoying. We're going to help you.
That's pretty alarming behavior, I'd say. From everything I've seen and from everything even the police have described, there's been nothing threatening to Josh or his family's safety or anything. They are just trying every possible option.
Or are they saying... is the police... what is it being said here?
Now you're saying, oh, his eyes looked glossy. We're not...
To ensure he was safe to drive. Vehicle. Sir Fraud substances. Shortly afterward, Joshua Johnson contacted police and reported he was going to shoot someone. As a result,
I guess the he here would be Benjamin or somebody else acquainted, and not Josh himself. I thought that he was referring to Josh himself. Maybe I'm wrong.
Of the ongoing harassment. Multiple officers...
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Huh.
...responded to the area. While en route, protect company assets.
Part. You're just going to tell them that lie.
Sent to the store to secure the franchise location and protect company assets. Mr. Johnson further explained...
Not company assets, by the way, since they didn't pay for it and apparently don't do consignment, so it's not theirs.
But according to Johnson, Mansell had not been paid. Mr. Johnson stated that when he arrived at the Oregon franchise location, Mansell demanded payment from Johnson and his business partner. Johnson reported that corporate representatives advised him they would address the consignment issue directly. However, Johnson claimed that Mansell continued...
If consignment wasn't allowed by corporate and consignment happened, individuals should be held accountable for consignment. If consignment was allowed by corporate and consignment happened and there was no payment, individuals should be held accountable for fraudulent consignment.
Attempting to hold Johnson and his business partner personally responsible under the agreement. Mr. Johnson also
pretty reasonable.
There were Lego sets believed to belong to Mansell that remained at the store. According to Johnson, they offered to return those items, but Mansell refused and continued demanding compensation.
That's not what happened. I read the corporate response. Okay, we're gonna go to that. So, Oregon store official statement. They claimed they never allowed consignment as part of their corporate policy, and they were only able to locate a small amount. Yeah, they claim that it's only 60 to 80 grand worth of Lego collection that it was worth. What is your proof of this? Like, what is apparently this is all false, but how do we trust that? There's no evidence here. This is all just statements that we have to take at face value from corporate regarding the individual situation, even if corporate isn't complicit in this. So,
Mr. Johnson alleged that Mansell had hired Benjamin.
like, corporate said they reached out. Neither corporate nor the incoming owners, Josh Johnson and Brendan Best, which were the new management, ever took, sold, or concealed this collection. Detailed inventory let's see those inventory logs. That any collector's items were already missing before we ever stepped foot inside. Where is the proof of this? This is just a statement. This is not evidence. This is a huge nothing burger. This entire corporate statement. It doesn't matter if you put in new rules. You still haven't proven what you are claiming here. And you need to. You must. Anyway, let's continue.
Benjamin Snyder to harass, stalk, vandalize the store, threaten to murder,
threaten to murder,
and forge signatures.
The forged signatures apparently ties into the rubber duck, so maybe that's true. But threaten to murder the manager of the store?
That didn't happen.
What? Yeah, just like Josh believed that there was heroin in Ben's vehicle, which obviously wasn't true. Huh.
117 subscribers, American Fork Police Department, bro.
What an interesting thought there. What an interesting theory. So they're saying now that they offered to return the Legos and Brian refused. That would be news to me.
And it would need to be substantiated.
Because even when their fucking COO or CEO, whoever it was that went on stream to beclown himself publicly last night, even he was like, we're not giving them back. or whatever. So it seems like they really don't want to give them back. I don't know if that option was ever on the back to you. Still never.
Previous days, allegedly involving Snyder and or Snyder's affiliates. Officer Sumbot informed Mr. Johnson that Snyder stated he was present with a process server to serve legal paperwork.
Is that right? It's because the Legos they offered to return were valued between $2.5 to $5K, so it was a small fraction of what they stole. Is that it? So they did offer to give them back like 2 sets from the collection? Like, alright, here, scram, here's 2 sets back. So that's what he's referring?
I think that's the same thing that's happening with that corporate statement claiming that it was only valued at maximum 80 grand. They're playing every card that they can.
Too?
Johnson claimed the paperwork was fraudulent.
And it's like, I'm trying to play devil's advocate and be like, okay, maybe corporate wasn't involved, you know, maybe it was just this individual location. If an individual store can utilize an entire police force as their personal military, is it really so crazy to think that a corporate entity could be in cahoots with said police force as well? I don't think so. I think that's pretty reasonable.
Officer Sumbot again contacted Snyder, who stated they needed to physically deliver copies of the paperwork to Mr. Johnson. Officer Sumbot's report states, Snyder told me he was following the government's instructions and that Johnson keeps calling the cops on him to avoid getting in trouble for his crimes. Snyder said this is the third time Johnson has called the cops because he thinks that if he keeps calling the cops on him, he can get away with it. But we are showing him that he's not going to get away with these crimes. Snyder
Fair. That sounds good.
To take the paperwork to Mr. Johnson, which Officer Sumbot did in an attempt to help Mr. Snyder. Officer Sumbot advised Mr. Johnson that the paperwork appeared to be related to a claim and a case that originated in Oregon. Mr. Johnson stated that he had already contacted the Oregon Law Enforcement Agency with jurisdiction, which was the Kaiser Police Department, and had been told that nothing had been filed. Mr. Johnson also stated he believed this...
That's interesting, considering there's evidence that it had been filed that the officers even looked at, too.
...and declined to accept service.
Okay.
Sumbot contacted the Marion County Circuit Court in Oregon to verify the legitimacy of the paperwork. The court confirmed that the case was indeed legitimate, but that...
If anyone has a functioning frontal lobe when listening to this entire timeline, it's so easy to tell who's in the right and who's in the wrong.
Papers had already been served, and no hearing date had yet been scheduled.
That would be big if true. Doesn't seem true, though.
Yeah. So this is what you're trying to serve them with? Yes. That's required by the court that we have. I wish we could. So. Okay. You okay if I give these papers to them?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Oh, do they show this with no redactions?
Okay, we might need you to fill out some documents later then, as proof of service, if that's okay, but because whoever serves him has to fill out a proof of service and might have to fill out some court papers, but
Nope, still redacted. Cool. So we'll go ahead and take the full department's word on it.
He does not want the paper. So
He's not want the papers?
here's that back for you.
Okay.
He wanted you trespassed.
Go figure.
While officers were speaking with the involved parties, a sign was also located on the park strip across from Mr. Johnson's residence.
All that they can see is that this is bad, not that it is true, which makes it good.
It's so interesting. If the actual order of events is he had already been served the papers appropriately and this was all for content, it surely would have been really easy to let us see that conversation and him prove that he had already gotten the service. But I guess we just have...
Snyder responded that he believed he was following court procedure. An individual commits stalking if the individual intentionally or knowingly engages in a course of conduct directed at a specific individual. And
I bet my fart would...
It's on public property. So this argument would also invalidate people politically protesting about individuals in power. This is a completely bankrupt fucking argument. Completely.
was more audible than this guy's entire speech
It's
so
on
far.
the public fucking sidewalk.
A reasonable person to fear for the individual's own safety or the safety of another, or to suffer other emotional.
Why are you gonna feel afraid of somebody putting up a sign? Why are you going to think this person is who's going to harm you? That's not a rational thought. It's the people who are unannounced who do the most harm. Like, what? And especially, like, who's putting up a sign who plans on harming you as well? Why go through the effort of putting up the sign? If someone is planning to forfeit their life and assassinate someone, do you think they put up a sign before doing so? I don't think so.
Distress. Utah law defines a course of conduct as 2 or more acts directed toward a specific individual, including, but not limited to, following, monitoring, observing, photographing, surveilling, or communicating to or about an individual.
So communicating to or about an individual is stalking in this case, even though it's legally necessary for Benjamin to pursue this case to serve those papers. Like what are we doing here?
It also includes approaching or confronting an individual, appearing.
You have to confront in order to have good faith reconciliation, or even a conversation. Those two are coupled. You can't isolate them.
At an individual's residence, contacting an individual's neighbors.
No, I get it. Like, you can definitely make the argument that it would be like stalking or harassment adjacent, but if the orders of the legal system...
No, you can't even. You can't. Because it's a public fucking sidewalk. And you can make comparisons to other people doing the same thing for different reasons. I'm so itchy. I'm getting fucking acne all over my goddamn body. Because all I can eat is dairy, pretty much. Fuck, I hope I get help soon. Oh my god, I'm so itchy. So fucking itchy. It's just the worst. Let's hope I get that referral really soon. The back acne is just awful. Horrendous.
Are to serve these papers, and he constantly uses the police department as his own fucking hound dogs to prevent him from doing that. What else is he supposed to do? How else do you serve those papers? They're really fixated on that element as opposed to giving the solution of how he's supposed to lawfully serve these papers in the event that they are refusing the service.
That's another good point.
I'm genuinely, what else do? You get a process servicer, which is what he did, right? Wasn't that the legal processor? So, like, they did. So what's the other method? If you can't do email and you can't do phone, it has to be physical for whatever fucking reason, and they just keep saying, nuh-uh. What else, like, how else are you supposed to do it that doesn't somehow tiptoe on this line of what is stalking adjacent? Like, I get, like, the filming and stuff, yeah, you could definitely make that as a...
What does that even mean, stalking adjacent? What? Bro, what does that even mean? Hold on, let me look this up. Stalker adjacent behaviors refer to actions that share the obsessive, intrusive, or boundary crossing qualities of stalking but may not meet the legal threshold for the crime. I think that's a self-defeating definition because it's not... It's either stalking or not stalking. If it's not stalking and it has quality of stalking, well then it's not stalking, it's only those qualities, which would be obsessive, intrusive, or boundary crossing, which isn't stalking. So how can you even make the argument that it's stalking adjacent? It is just those qualities. Stalking adjacent is such a legal stretch in any context, if it is just one of those three qualities. I mean, I guess depends on the severity, of course, of what's going on, like the full context. But generally speaking, most of the time, that doesn't seem like it would fit that definition.
Stronger case, whatever. But the guy is still just refusing it. That still seems like you should be more on the side of the person trying to deliver this lawful order has been served. So I don't think you can just be like, it was close enough, so it counts. But you could make the case that it's overboard because of, like, he kept showing up. But again, without a whole lot of options, how else are you even going to attempt to pursue justice in a case like this?
Cause that Schneider had committed the offenses of stalking and targeted residential picketing under Utah law. Schneider was subsequently arrested and transported to the Utah County Jail.
That was his first arrest. That arrest happened right after they learned that the lawsuit and everything was legitimate. So the officer got that information, confirmed it through the official channels, and then they immediately went to arrest him, by the way.
And observed 4 individuals hanging a sign directly across from Johnson's residence. The sign appeared to be either the same sign or a replica of the sign that was referenced in case 26AF02033. Officer Richardson contacted the group and asked what they were doing. The group stated they were supporting a GoFundMe campaign for a dying man. One of the individuals, later identified as Sheldon Norcross, voluntarily showed Officer Richardson his phone to display the GoFundMe. While viewing the phone, Officer Richardson observed that Norcross was actively engaged in a FaceTime call. Officer Richardson asked Norcross who it was he was speaking with, and specifically asked whether it was Benjamin Schneider. Norcross confirmed Schneider was on the FaceTime call.
God, he's like their boogeyman over there in Utah.
The known facts and the elements of Utah's stalking statute, and taking into consideration the new actions from that day, Officer Richardson established probable cause to arrest Schneider for an additional count of stalking.
Jesus.
Because he was on a FaceTime call. So, and how that quickly? How did he do that so quickly? So he sees that Schneider is on this friend's FaceTime call and immediately decides, okay, this is grounds for arrest. What is that?
Richardson believed Schneider was coordinating conduct through third parties that constituted a continued course of conduct under the statute we reviewed.
That's bullshit.
Officer Richardson then decided to seize Norcross's phone, pending the approval of a search warrant.
And then told him not to lock his phone, which isn't withholding of evidence before a search warrant. And then, you know, takes him in, and then you know how it goes.
In order to preserve potential evidence and prevent the deletion or alteration of it.
There was no deletion or potential preventation of evidence or anything like that. You're allowed to lock your phone. There is no search warrant. There is no probable cause of anything because of a FaceTime call. This is fucking delusional.
Any data. According to Officer Richardson.
And the officer wouldn't have even known any specifics of said FaceTime call because there's not enough time. They would just know that there is a FaceTime call. What is this?
Reports. When Norcross was informed that the phone was going to be seized, Norcross immediately began manipulating the device.
Oh.
What a phrasing. What a way to phrase it. You're allowed to lock your phone. That's not manipulating a device. That phrasing would be used under warranty if you tried to pry open the device and change it. Not if you try to use an intended feature for your own security within your legal rights.
Oh my god, he's actually going for it. He's alting. That manipulating the device, it's all on camera, by the way. He went to lock his phone. That's the manipulation they're talking about on the device. Making it sound like he went in there with, like, a fucking magnet or something to start, like, tampering.
At this time, officers did not know.
Stalker? That is, like, choices you could...
Adamson moved Schneider's right arm behind his back. What this means is that our officers take the time to knock on the door, to present themselves as officers, and to inform anyone inside that they have a search warrant. Agreed to interviews with Detective Nicosia regarding the underlying business.
It's all corrupt.
Brazen.
It's all corrupt.
Been wanting to get for a long time, so we'll go. The American Fork Police Department has responded.
So this is Ben's response 1 day after the last video we just watched to the police department.
To the video I made about them.
I am the Chief of Police for the American Fork Police Department. I'd like to address the members of our American Fork and Cedar Hills community regarding some videos currently circulating on social media.
So now I will offer a response to their response. There's a lot of new information in this response that I've been wanting to get for a long time, so we'll go over that first. One of the main questions in my video was, why did I get swatted for stealing the Legos when this wasn't a mystery to the police officers and they knew that I didn't steal the Legos, that Josh stole the Legos.
He basically stole a $200,000 collection of Star Wars Legos.
But still, why did they raid my house for stealing the Legos when there's an overwhelming amount of evidence that Josh stole the Legos? When I requested the body cam footage of this to try to find the answers myself, they redacted everything, and they claimed it was to protect the victims. However, one of my friends set up a GoPro as we were getting swatted, and we caught the entire conversation on camera.
Included in the warrant are Legos.
For 3 months, the police department's answer has been, this redaction is important because it protects Josh, the victim of this case. However,
Yeah, that's fucking bullshit.
However, we can clearly see that the police are looking for Legos and they saw no Legos. And they redacted this because they were embarrassed that they made such a stupid decision to SWAT the wrong person. They were so embarrassed.
Josh is now a conspirator, not just a thief and yeah, no, this is fucked.
Of swatting my house for stealing the Legos that in all of the police reports, it is completely redacted. The police department wants this information hidden so bad that they're willing to break the law to hide this from everyone. The only reason I know about it is because of the receipt I got the night I was released from jail and my friend's GoPro that was recording. So even though I've been asking them for 3 months why I got swatted, they finally came up with an answer, which is the Airbnb host told them that I stole the Legos.
During contact with the Airbnb owner, the owner reported overhearing conversations about possible stolen Legos.
Name of this owner, transcript, testimony, anything substantiating this?
Specifically, officers wrote in the search warrant affidavit, the homeowner also disclosed that he could hear multiple individuals inside the residence speaking about possibly stolen Lego toys they had taken. Based on that information, officers added a request within the search warrant affidavit seeking authorization to also search for and seize possible stolen property, including Lego merchandise. 4th District Judge Roger W. Griffin reviewed and approved the search warrant.
I always like giving people the benefit of the doubt, and I will take the police officer's word on this, but something fishy is going on here, and everything can just be cleared up if you unredact the audio and let everyone see the truth. Also, after we got raided and the police officers found no Legos, all of this footage has been redacted.
Just like how they found nothing in the car, just like how, yeah, everything, every reason they've come up with is fucking bullshit. This is an absolute waste of resources, too.
And my guess is if the police unredact this footage, we will find out the answers once and for all. While we were getting swatted, one of the police officers decided to injure me for absolutely no reason. He claims it's because I was trying to make a fast movement.
Don't move like that. You understand me? Don't move like
Didn't
that.
happen.
Move quick. Everybody just chill.
But when we replay the footage,
That's quite ironic, because there's only one party in here, in this, there's only one party in this interaction that's not chill and trying to cope.
you can clearly see I was not making any fast movements. However, the police department has an answer to this.
During Snyder's detention, Lieutenant Adamson took hold of Snyder's right arm. Lieutenant Adamson later reported that he felt Snyder tense his arm, at which point Adamson moved Snyder's right arm behind his back to place him into custody.
The police department has made it clear I did not, in fact, make any quick movements like the police officer claims I did. So the police officer was...
The claim has now changed from the initial interaction to the analyzation of said interaction.
lying, but not fully, because I did tense my arm. However, he lunges at me extremely...
That's completely natural. So it's also hypocritical. The officer is the one making the fast, unfounded movement.
extremely fast before he even touches me. So how could he even know that I was tensing my arm before he even grabs me? That doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
There's only one solution. This police officer has psychic powers, and he could tell that my arm was tensing up before grabbing me. However, this makes no sense, because if the police officer did truly have psychic powers, he would have known that we were not the thieves, Josh and Brandon were the thieves. So this can't be the case either. I'm trying to have an open mind with these different possibilities of what this could be, but literally the only outcome left is that this police officer injured me for no reason. However, the police have another response to this of why I must be lying.
In the X-ray image displayed by Mr. Snyder in that video, a small L is visible in the upper right-hand corner of the X-ray. The L indicates the image is that of the left shoulder. The video shows Lieutenant Adamson handling Snyder's right arm during the arrest.
Yes, the stock footage I used to show what a dislocated shoulder is, an image that's clearly not mine because I didn't go to the hospital. I went to jail. So how could I have taken this picture? But anyways, the stock image I used is of a left shoulder when my shoulder that got injured was my right.
So they're trying to frame, the police department's trying to frame it as if Ben is using this as evidence when it's not evidence, it's a reference image of what the injury looks like.
Shoulder. When I was editing this, I like to think highly of my audience that they would have known that this was a stock image, and
this is all very interesting. This is actually so interesting.
I wouldn't have to spoon feed every tiny detail to my audience. But now I realize that there's another portion of my audience called the American Fork Police Department that maybe I do have to spoon feed every single piece of information to. So I'm going to use this as constructive criticism, and in every single episode going forward now that I know that the American Fork Police Department's watching, I will be forced to spoon feed every single detail. As a professional slackliner, dislocating my shoulder is almost a monthly thing for me.
The whole weight of my arm is just on this bone.
Boon.
3 days before I got arrested, I had a really bad ski accident where I had a really bad dislocation of my shoulder, and any movement at all would have dislocated it. So I will say here, I don't think that the police officer was purposely trying to injure me. I think to a normal person this would have been fine, but for me in particular, this was not good, but it was still unjustified, and the police officer was just...
And more to that point, police officers should be considerate of potential former injuries in those they're trying to... Well, no, it's all bullshit. That's not a good argument for someone who is a legitimate suspect. You don't have to care if somebody is, well, I guess it depends, right? It depends. But generally, officers want to put safety first for the general public, offenders and victims.
Just making up an excuse, and now they're making up an excuse to defend it. Another thing I find shocking is the chief of police, even after reviewing the dash cam footage, says that we ran a stop sign.
Richardson initiated a traffic stop on the vehicle for failing to stop before the stop line at a stop sign and failing to stop completely at that stop sign.
The chief of police looked at this video and said, we ran a stop sign. And now he's using that to say, this was a legal traffic stop. The police officers did nothing wrong. At this point, we thought the best thing to do was to take Josh to court so he can be legally accountable for the crimes he committed. However, to do that, we are first required to serve him court papers.
And try to have this good faith interaction that is, obviously prevented and seen as illegal.
So, we did what the law told us to do. I got a process server, and we went to his house to do this the legal way. However, Josh did not want to do this the legal way, and instead called the police on us.
Joshua Johnson contacted...
How is that not misuse of 911? And, he claimed that there was a threat of shooting. That's not at all true.
Police and reported he was going to shoot someone as a result of the ongoing harassment.
And all of the answers are in the body cam footage. However, they redacted all the body cam footage. So this is where I think if we all come together as a community, we can somehow convince the American Fork Police Department to unredact this footage so we can find out why they arrested me and not the guy
Not gonna happen.
who threatened to murder me. However, the American Fork Police does not want to unredact the footage right now, and now have made up a new excuse of why I was the one justified being arrested.
Officer Sumbot contacted the Marion County Circuit Court in Oregon to verify the legitimacy of the paperwork.
I think the why behind that is important.
The court confirmed that the case was indeed legitimate, but that papers had already been served and no hearing date had yet been scheduled.
The police department said the reason they arrested me and not Josh this day is because they called to confirm if this was a real court case, and they said it was real. However, the papers have already been served, and now I'm doing this solely to get YouTube content. And if that's true, I would like to see footage of it. They released all the raw footage, and that part doesn't seem to be in the raw footage.
that's already been to court, or are you allowed to tell me kind of where they're at with the case?
There is no hearing date set, and there hasn't been a hearing in the case yet. All I see is the claim that was filed. I don't see proof of...
Yes, it's real.
Bye.
Right here, the police officer admits that it is March 10th.
On March 10th, 2026.
However, you can see here that Josh doesn't get served until 3 days later, March 13th. So how could Josh have already been served on March 10th if he didn't get served until March 13th? Unless Josh is a time traveler.
Josh is time. I love this dude. Making it entertaining. Like, dude, this guy is a legend. To be going through all of this and to be this drained by this fucking corruption and these fucking low-life religious mobs and religious mafia, literally, and then to still make it so entertaining. Dude, props.
There's only one way to clear this all up. American Fork Police Department, show me the time machine. So now, they say that I have done all the check marks which constitute stalking. Let's go through them.
Individual commits stalking if the individual intentionally or knowingly...
Yeah, I already invalidated this completely.
...engages in a course of...
It's what's required by the court if I want to take someone to court. If someone steals your stuff and you go through the legal process to take them to court, it is not considered stalking. I have a right as an American to sue him.
...is reckless as to whether that course of conduct...
That's a simple way to do it. I did it the complicated way, doing comparison.
...would cause a reasonable person...
A reasonable person would be scared. The police are claiming that since this action made Josh scared, this checkmark is complete. However, they've completely forgotten about the term reasonable. As we can see, Josh is not a reasonable person. This is someone who multiple times has tried to silence someone by accusing them of being on heroin.
Here's the crazy thing. They told me that they took over that location because the owners were using the location to fund their heroin addiction.
What?
Yeah, and that's how they took it over, and saying they had like a pigeon in there that was crapping all over the Legos, and it smelled bad, all this stuff.
This is someone who threatened to murder me just for trying to serve him papers. This is not a reasonable person. It is not reasonable to threaten to murder someone just for serving papers. A reasonable person would accept the papers, so that second checkbox does not meet the requirements.
Great argument. No notes.
I even tried explaining this to one of the police officers early on.
What the law says is if the average person would feel unsafe by our behaviors, so I think he's feeling unreasonably unsafe, a reasonable person would not feel unsafe in the situation. Well, I can say the same thing. I feel unsafe trying to conduct business with him, and he calls the police on me to hide. I feel unsafe because of that. Because we had a 3-hour search in our car. He said we had heroin in our car yesterday. We had a 3-hour search in our car. That makes me feel unsafe. I think that's reasonable for me to feel unsafe. It's not reasonable for him to feel unsafe.
So Josh...
Wow, excellent work, dude.
Is actually the one who said he was going to murder me if I take him to court. But now, I'm the one that's being looked into for threatening to murder Josh. How does this...
And you had to move to Mexico. Bro, you shouldn't have to move to Mexico because you've had $200,000 worth of Legos stolen.
Doesn't make any sense.
Mr. Johnson alleged that Mansell had hired Benjamin Snyder to harass, stalk, vandalize the store, threaten to murder the manager of the store.
Now, let's go to the heroin claim. We got pulled over by the police, and they claimed that we had heroin on us.
This officer is going to conduct the search of your person because there are substances in the vehicle. Really?
Most of this footage is redacted, so again, there's a big mystery of what happened. Can we all come together and convince the American Fork Police Department to unredact this so we can find out the truth? However, what the police is claiming now is that they did not get a call saying that we had heroin on us. Instead, they could just tell from the second we pulled over that our eyes were glossy.
During the interaction...
Then how How was there an initial interaction? How did that How did the initial interaction come to be then? Like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
Officer Fraughton indicated he believed Shaw's...
There was more than one cop car, right? There's a whole canine. You're telling me coincidentally they just had all that and were passing by? No.
Eyes appeared glossy and expressed concern regarding possible impairment.
If we look back on the raw footage, this is what the police officer said his first interaction with us was like.
Good with these guys being able to drive?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't see anything clear as day with Tyler that I noticed.
What's the goal of...
Right now? Yeah, I was gonna scare him a little bit and let him go is all I really was gonna do.
Do we have charges, or are we just tired of them being annoying?
It seems hard to take what the chief of police is saying seriously because so far almost everything he said is a lie. So the only way we can actually find out the truth is if we unredact everything. We already know the victim's name is Joshua Johnson. Why do we have to keep that protected? His name is already out there. None of these redactions are protecting anything except for the police. And now I want to acknowledge my friend Sheldon's arrest.
The group stated they were supporting a GoFundMe campaign for a dying man.
Yeah, this was the whole, I'm on call with Ben because Ben isn't gonna risk coming to the area with a potential warrant, a bullshit warrant, and then, I can't lock my phone even though there's no warrant.
One of the individuals, later identified as Sheldon Norcross, immediately began manipulating the device.
The police officer claims that Sheldon was arrested because he opened his phone to start deleting evidence. However, we can clearly see in the footage Sheldon's thumb is heading towards that lock button to lock his phone. His phone was open when he pulled it out, and the phone was transitioning from on to off, not from off to on. From this response, it almost seems like the police officers didn't even watch the video. So American Fork Police Department, if I'm your teacher, here's your homework. First off, learn the facts of what actually happened. Second off, stop lying about the facts. No one's believing it. The third thing is unredact the audio that makes the police look bad. Some of the best lawyers in the United States are reaching out to me right now, so eventually this is going to get released. Wouldn't you just like to get this over with sooner rather than dragging this out? The more we drag this out, the more content we get, so this only benefits me to drag this out.
Oh, but that's a bad thing because you're definitely not a victim here. Yeah. They're just gonna endlessly do a death spiral of credibility.
It doesn't benefit you. If you unredact the illegally redacted parts now, you'll win over audience support much faster. It's kind of funny.
Damn, he's really playing devil's advocate.
So a lot of you guys probably think I'm trying to make fun of this other cop by how he was talking.
Brother, you mind turning up the volume? Holy, it's actual ASMR. Wow. I cannot really hear him. Why is he whispering?
No, I'm actually just super sick right now. I haven't been sleeping because I'm trying to get out part 3 as fast as I can. And that's caused me just to stay up all night, every night, and not sleep. And now I'm sick and have no voice. But yeah, I guess...
Get some sleep, dude. Please, get some sleep. It's the secret and will keep you cognitively prepared and physically prepared. You need sleep. It's more important than diet. Both are crucial, but please take care of yourself.
I don't know why that police officer was talking.
This is something to be excited about in some regard.
It was such a low, quiet voice, but that's why I am, at least. I wasn't making fun of him. I literally am just genuinely sick. But if you want to see part 3, subscribe to my Patreon at patreon.com/.
So then we have this. It pretty much goes over everything. It's a legal analysis, probably. I'm not gonna watch all of this, it's just repeat. It's just gonna be repeat. and with added legal context. I don't need to do that. That was insane. I didn't see this portion of, like, the police department's response. I've seen everything else, though, up until this point. And I don't want to redo the entire story. These are just the most recent events and my take on them. That's pretty much it. I'm gone. Be sure to check out my Instagram. Be sure to check out my TikTok where I post deep shit and some funny shit. You can join my Discord server if you'd like. It's not much, but it's something. Like and sub. My name means to conquer. You can help me do this by making me the most subscribed Vince on YouTube. Also, I have a music channel now. I am starting to release Juice WRLD inspired music. I'm openly inspired by Juice WRLD, and I've been working on a lot of cool shit there. So check that out if you're interested. Everybody have a good night or day. Cheers.